If I earn millions of dollars every year for the next 5 years, how easily can I lose it all? These following footballers are perfect examples of how pretty fucking easy it is to lose everything. Many regard Ronaldinho as one of the greatest players to ever grace the field, and he has many awards to fucking prove it. And thanks to his talent, football was just digging him a fucking well of money. In his prime, he was getting tens of millions per season. He had deals with Nike, EA, Coca-Cola, and many other brands. In fact, when Coca-Cola dropped him, arch rivals Pepsi snatched him up. It's true what they say, there is no fucking honor among big corps. But with great talent comes a crazy amount of clubbing. This was true, at least for Ronaldinho. It was a problem at PSG, Barca, and almost every team he joined later. It was so crazy that he had it in his fucking contract to include 2 days for partying, despite training. This and other factors reduced his earning power and fast-forwarded the end of his career. After retirement, Ronaldinho miraculously still had some of his wealth. However, serious financial and legal issues in Brazil would surface. He was accused of bigamy, and his long-term partner sued him for $70 million. Authorities raided his homes, and his properties were seized due to unpaid fines. At one point, Ronaldinho had fallen so low, he had just £5 in his account, and debts almost ripping him apart. It only gets worse. He and his brother were then sent to prison in Paraguay for using a fake passport. They were there for some time, playing football to win a huge piece of ham. It was after posting a £1.3 million bail that they were confined to house arrest, even after the siblings were still under investigation. Ronaldinho, once so iconic, has truly fallen far from where he used to be, but he is still luckier than the rest of the footballers on this list. For example, former Aston Villa goalkeeper Brad Friedel was declared bankrupt simply because his investments didn't work out. Despite investing his weekly salary of over £40,000 in a venture that other players were investing in, it still failed. According to Macclesfield County Court, Friedel had also acquired over £5 million in debt thanks to his US football academy. His sponsors stopped their support, and new trainees couldn't afford the academy's £20,000 annual fee. Additionally, authorities also seized a £260,000 house owned by Friedel in Ohio, and all these happened after he had retired from football. Someone else who faced some pretty hard times after retirement was Diego Armando Maradona. You can't mention the 5 greatest footballers of all time without his name. This was a man who literally carried Argentina on his shoulders during his playing career. But as bright as Maradona shined, the cracks were showing. While playing in Spain during the 1980s, he developed a cocaine addiction, resulting in a 15-month suspension following a positive drug test in 1991. 3 years later, he faced another suspension, this time during the World Cup for testing positive for ephedrine. After retirement, his drug addiction started causing serious heart issues, to the point of requiring the assistance of a respirator for proper breathing. The following year, he underwent gastric bypass surgery. Maradona was so fucking broke, he owed €37 million in unpaid taxes, penalties, and interest from his time playing for Napoli. And when they came asking, he only had €42,000, 2 Rolex watches, and earrings to give them. Things started to look like they were picking up for him when he earned almost $2.7 million managing Al Wasl FC in Dubai. But he lost that job, just as he lost many other coaching jobs he got. Maradona had very small cash to his name when he died. There were arguments that he had assets. Whether that is true or not, who knows? In the case of Liverpool's fullback Jon Arne, it was widely known that he was declared bankrupt at Liverpool County Court because of a debt of approximately £100,000. And before you say that, £100,000 is nothing to him because he was earning £50,000 per week. The fact was, Riise was already being cucked for a £3 million fraud in Norway. Riise, like some other footballers, had invested in business ventures, including hotels, which turned out to be a horrible investment that landed him in debt. Riise had to sue his former agent, since he was the one who was in charge of investing his funds. Paul Gascoigne, however, can't blame anyone but himself when it comes to losing money. The Spurs legend, who was reportedly worth £60 million at one point in his life, had lost almost everything. He was said to be worth around £100,000 as of 2021. Gazza's life after football was filled with alcoholism, depression, and various legal issues. He continued living a lavish lifestyle even when there wasn't a source of income. He financially mismanaged his money, spending about £25,000 a month. He was buying luxury items and wasting money dealing with legal issues because of his controversial lifestyle. Gazza, even in his 50s, couldn't help himself. He was introduced to cocaine during rehab. At this point, the legend was completely in the dust. It got so bad he had to do a procedure to implant anti-drinking pellets into his stomach. Gazza was also what you call unlucky. He was accused of sexual assault on a train, which ended in his arrest. He dealt with that accusation for over a year. He was eventually acquitted after losing so much to the ordeal of the legal case. In recent years, Gazza has lived a quiet life, protecting himself from his nemesis, alcohol and cocaine. Adriano Lecce Ribeiro, the emperor, was famous for his dominance on the field. He was so good, many dubbed him the new Ronaldo. But the personal tragedy of losing his father broke Adriano, and he had to deal with injuries and personal challenges. According to him, he just got tired of football, which led to deep depression, then turned to excessive drinking. His club even sent him on 18 months unpaid leave due to his alcohol-related issues. All of this pushed him to retire at 34, and he continuously partied with his friends in the favelas. I have included him because despite the fact that he is not broke like some of the people on this list, he is the player who truly underutilized his potential. If we are looking at players who, unlike Adriano, fully utilized their professional potential but failed woefully in their personal lives, George Best is a perfect example. The renowned Northern Irish footballer is celebrated as one of the greatest players in football history. His success made his country so proud, they named an airport after him to honor his achievements. But Best's personal life was nothing to write home about. Best was well known for heavy drinking, legal issues, and he loved the nightlife. Before anyone could say jack, bankruptcy had crept in. Due to personal and professional issues, he initially retired. Then he came out of retirement hoping to pick up his career, but alcoholism and the random change in behavior made his return very brief. Best tried to rehabilitate himself, but he failed almost every time. He continued to battle with alcoholism, finally needing to undergo a liver transplant in 2003. Best was a man who struggled with his demons, but in the end, he passed away due to complications from a lung infection and multiple organ failure. Emmanuel Eboué, former Arsenal and Ivory Coast defender, he lost everything. Eboué had a successful career at Arsenal and a great contract, which allowed him to afford costly cars, properties, and so on. He then went to Turkey to continue his career and was paid millions for his services too. But in 2017, he faced his ex-wife Aurélie in a legal dispute, which he lost and was forced by the court to give her his assets. This divorce ruined Eboué. Not only did his ex-wife take his wealth, but she also took the children away from him. A news publication reported that he was now poor and homeless post-divorce. In addition to this, he suffered a football ban for failing to pay an agent. In the same period, he lost 2 of his relations, and it got to a point where he contemplated suicide. Eboué eventually returned to Africa to rebuild his life and even remarried. Footballers deal with a lot, and mistakes such as financial mismanagement, drug use, and spending recklessly can destroy years of hard work. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe.